morning to all of you, and let me apologize for the time that technology took to set my talk in. My greetings to all of you, my respect to Professor Agarwal, who is moderating the dais, fellow Vice Chancellors, corporate sector colleagues, and esteemed participants. There are certain points that I have to say, and perhaps I can say without it. First of all, let me express my thoughts that I'm going to talk to you the use of technology in enhancing learning and its relevance in higher education. I come from a university which was established in 2008, and it was founded in 1962 by the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. One of the reasons why, after finishing my career at Bhabha Atomic Research Center, took up the Vice Chancellorship of this university. This university exists in rural area. So one of the flavor that I want to give you is the higher education that we talk of in the beautiful auditorium is very different than what we witness in the real situation in the rural area. One of the points that I want to make to you is the feeling that I get that when we talk about a student and when we talk about teaching and the role of the teacher in teaching, the situation is extremely interesting and at the same time disappointing. What is it? The student has lost interest in coming to the class. The student doesn't want to come to the class. Unfortunate thing is also that the teacher doesn't want to teach. And there is a kind of indifference from both ends. How technology can come in, how technology can solve this problem, how some of the problems that we are facing at the university level can be remedied by using technology is what I would like to focus upon. A question that I want to bring to your notice is many of the universities which have now been opened in private sector are not well equipped, and there is a problem of infrastructure. Very serious problem of infrastructure. In the morning when I was listening to the question of acoustics in the auditorium, I was just wondering that there are questions of getting proper seats sitting in the class. There is a question of electricity that doesn't come. There is a question of light. Without light, we have to teach students. And that kind of scenario that exists in the rural areas is very different than what we discuss. Ladies and gentlemen, one question that comes to my mind on this point of using technology for higher education is the very existence of the university question. There is a debate at the national level in India, and I just returned from China. This question was discussed quite seriously. What is university? A degree-giving body, an office which can give degree, a teaching college which can just teach, doesn't bother about what this quality is or what kind of individual we are trying to produce, or it's just a university by mandate that is set to carry out certain roles, doesn't bother about the outcome. Very basically, in India we are debating the question of university itself. And today, because of the globalization, the demands have become different. Demands have put pressure on our system. And that's why perhaps we assemble here to discuss this very vital question. What are those demands? Those demands are that our education system, in fact, has been rather stupendous. We had automatically many scholars than the population that we had. So our scholars were going to other parts of the world to spread message, to give knowledge, and to talk about how the humanity should be. One of the fundamental role of university is research. And if university doesn't do research, no matter how good teaching is, it doesn't come in the world ranking. And if it doesn't come in the world ranking, then we lose whether we are entitled to be called university. And if you notice, the ranking part of the universities is decided 60% by the research that is being carried out in the university and the citation that it earns. 60% of that. This means any university, however excellent in teaching it is, cannot be called university, cannot come in the ranking. That is the question that we are debating. In Indian universities, we were quite complacent with the teaching part because we adopted a system where we have a large number of research institutions. The government funding to research institutions which are totally devoted to research has been pretty large. And we have CSIR laboratories, 60 and odd, and we have institutes of strategic importance like Bhabha Atomic Research Center or Space Research Organization, and a couple of them. Therefore, the government's funding in science and technology and research is pretty large in strategic institutions or in the research institutions. When country became independent, we thought that we will build many research institutions, thereby we will be able to carry out high quality research and we will be able to compete with the world. And we talked of relevance and excellence. What is excellence need not be relevant. And what is excellent need not be excellent in the sense that is it useful. Therefore, our country being the poor country, less developed country, has greater demands of the time. And this demand is in terms of how to produce students who can compete in the world, in the job scenario. We lament, we regret from this dais that our students of engineering especially are only 25% employable. And this question is very serious. And this question we are held accountable, those of us who are steering education, especially higher education in the country. Why we are producing something which is so useless? Why we are producing something which is so not fitting the need of the time? That is the question before us. And to my mind, this question is not, time is over? Okay. This question, I lost all my time in studying technology. But anyway, please allow me to say just a few more sentences. And the sentence that I want to use to you and I want to say that the methods that we are adopting today are not going to remain very relevant to our system. We must be careful in trying to use a system that need not be totally Western. What is suitable in England and in the United States need not be suitable in India. 65% of our students are still coming from rural areas. And they are coming to the best of the institutions to compete. Let me tell you, as I mentioned in one of my comments yesterday, that we have best of the talent existing in the country. And it's our responsibility as the leaders of the education to make this product shining, to make this product sellable, to make this product marketable. And in one of the situations, Government of India is faced with a problem that there are corporations and companies which are coming to compete for the business in India. They are insisting that when we come to do business in India, we will also bring our own engineers and our own managers. And our question is, should we allow this to happen? And the question that corporate sector asks us, your engineers are no good. And therefore, this is the question that we need to debate. How to say that our engineers must do the best. And with the permission of the chair, one thing I want to mention to you. Other day I was in IIT Kanpur, and a delegation from France had come to standardize our MTech program. And to my horrific experience, I noticed that the delegation said that the MTech program of IIT Kanpur is not of the standard that is there in France. And one of the remarks that president of the delegation said was that the MTech student straight away goes in our aircraft industry and starts building the aircraft. But your MTech is not knowing what the aircraft is. Forget about its engineering. And this is a little bit a question that we should debate, that when we are thinking of quality, when we are trying to be competitive globally, we have to introduce a higher education system that should be strong and that should be compatible and comparable with the world scenario. It is then only that we can expect that we'll be able to compete in this very demanding world that we are faced with. A last point that I want to make is, unless we start research-based education, unless we bring innovation and research depending upon what is the local situation, not necessarily borrowing from other countries, we will not succeed. So we should be careful that the real situation in the country is very different than what we see apparently. And therefore, a large section of people are coming from rural background. We should not focus so much on urban background students. And we should also try to see that the talent is nurtured and competitiveness is brought and they are produced well to be marketable in the world. With this, I would like to thank you very much for your kind attention. I had prepared a 15-minute talk, but somehow the technology has failed. But human mind works. So therefore, thank you very much.